There are many children still out of school.
The education sector in Nigeria faces a wide array of serious problems. Only 57% of school-age girls attend primary schools. About 51% of the available classrooms are considered to be in good condition. And only 30% of the primary schools have access to water and electricity. The teacher-student ratio can reach up to 1 to 100 in some states, and tests show that the quality of education is insufficient to provide basic life skills and knowledge.
Satellite talents.
What prompted the Kwara State government to approach the World Bank for this credit? The education sector was in shambles. We saw that most of the teachers failed the exams. Less than 10% of our students transit to the higher institution. So which means that there's something wrong with the quality of teachers we are producing.
That is the cry of everyone in the state and in Nigeria as a whole. Quality of education, what are we doing about it?
The Nigerian government is highly committed to education reform and requested assistance from the World Bank to help implement their State Education Sector Project, SESP. The project started with the rehabilitation of schools and the construction of additional fully furnished classrooms. Some schools received electrification or drainages, and a total of 244 blocks of toilets were built for students and teachers, together with 40 boreholes and 14 wells. Another important aspect of the SESP project is the transparent and competitive bidding procedures. The strict World Bank procurement guidelines resulted in a more efficient use of resources. The new construction in the schools is of better quality than before.
Everything is defined. Everything is defined, and there's transparency and accountability. Whatever you spend, you have to account for that, and most especially in procurement, it has to be made public.
Money has also been spent on enhancing other aspects in the schools, such as libraries.
It has good furniture, it has light, it has fan. At least it will be conducive for the learners to read. The location is good, and there is a librarian. Their main purpose of being in the library is to study, for private studies. So with the assistance of the librarian, there will be no distraction.
School books were developed and given to all SESP schools at a ratio of 1 book per student.
But this project has come up with a textbook policy. The free books that are now being given to students. SESP has been able to provide books in 500 schools on 1-to-1 ratio, 1 student to 1 textbook, in 4 core areas: mathematics, English, integrated science, and social studies. There are also workbooks and teachers' guides.
School-based management committees are made up of representatives of the school, the parents, the local government, and the wider community. They play a key role in deciding how funds are being spent.
All SESP schools have fully functional school-based management committees. This is a scheme whereby schools receive grants. Before receiving the grants, the school-based management committee is trained on how to plan school development projects and how to prioritize, how to use their funds for effective implementation of this project.
I'm a chairman of PTA and SDMC and primary school.
Well, mainly we are having the problem of security. There are no night guard. They have only one guard. So now the PTA has now tried to look for a guard we are paying it in our own costs, so that to make sure the facilities the World Bank has provided for us and the state government to be secured. So we've been doing that.
Communities that used to stay back and watch maybe government-run schools for them are now directly involved, and there's some kind of ownership.
1,321 schools received grants. Teachers received professional development training to improve the quality of teaching and learning in basic education.
Once you introduce a new factor in education, which is a positive one, it has a tendency to galvanize. Everybody now knows about this TPD. Everybody wants to be part of it.
Another focus of the SESP project is the improved education inspection services. Kwara State is leading the way in reforming its quality assurance system.
Inspection will be done only through the Ministry of Education. So that's why we have the Quality Assurance Bureau. So they went through due process to select the best of our inspectors. So the teachers that have had over 12 years of experience in the classrooms, so they are the ones put in charge of inspection.
Honestly, there is a lot of work. We have a number of schedule of evaluation that we have to cover, almost 8. We make sure we touch all aspects of evaluation. So that makes it a lot of work. And at the end of the day, we do give feedback. We give oral feedback and written feedback.
The only way we have to measure the success is the school visits. We visit the schools, and the first, what we may call face validity that you get is how they organize the classrooms. It is no longer the row-by-row organization, but pupils sitting in circular or horseshoe form so that they can actually interact, learn from each other, do group activities, and so on.
Don't put your mind to that maths. But what I'm trying to do, I want you to think and tell me the right answer.
What do you want to become when you grow up?
Nurse. My mother, she's fine, so I don't want to be a farmer.
Increasing the enrollment of girls in school and getting them to stay on in secondary education is a key objective of SESP.
If a parent can afford the education of 1 out of 2 children, they would rather educate a boy. So maybe it's a belief that they would rather educate boys than girls, because girls are seen just to be, maybe they should just go and be housewives and get married at the earliest possible opportunity.
SESP introduced a conditional cash transfer pilot project in Kano State. Here, cash is being transferred to the poorest households on the condition that they cannot withdraw their daughter from school. 13,000 girls in grades 5 and 6 and JSS 1 were identified as eligible for payment in 500 schools.
And of course, we also pilot the idea of the ECD, Early Childhood Development, in the 3 states. That is in Kano, Kaduna, Kwara.
Right now, we have 8 teachers that are online training that are going to be certificated on early childhood development. They are linked with Virtual University in Canada. And these are going to be spearheads for early childhood development in Kaduna State.
The importance of this really, basically, if you like, is to prepare children for primary education.
The SESP project has trained almost 9,000 teachers and 5,000 school-based management committee members. 75 inspectors were trained to do their part in improving the quality of teaching. Schools were renovated and 750 classrooms were added and furnished. Classrooms are now less crowded, even though the enrollment rate increased with more than 100,000 students in the targeted JSS. Over 3 million textbooks were purchased, and the Nigerian government has adopted a new textbook policy. 1,321 schools received grants.
And the result has been very, very satisfactory. We are 3 years of the project, we are the 4th year, and we hope that the government is be able to move this project to the next level in which they can sustain it and they will be able to scale it up.